What's going on, everybody? It's the Daily Fantasy Hitman back at you with another League of Legends breakdown. Today we got 2 games out of the LCK and 2 games out of the LPL, which means we're back to the full 4-game slate. First game, I got T1 versus Nongshim Red Force, and you might be wondering why T1's coming in here as only a minus 238 favorite. Well, they're coming off a 2-0 sweep versus Afrika, and those were some pretty ugly games. I watched both of them. Afrika kind of stomped them out in the first game, but the second game T1 had like a pretty big lead, and then they just kind of threw it away because their team composition was pretty rough in that game. And you'll notice that they brought in a completely different lineup here. Teddy came in for Gumayushi, Korea stayed the same, Alim swapped it out for Cuz. Kana's in there, but I heard rumors that Zeus might come in for Kana this next series, so we'll see what happens there. On the other side, Nongshim Red Force, they haven't looked insane in my opinion. I haven't really liked what I've seen, but they had those sneaky little wins. Now, Freda Brown, not the best team, so that was expected. But the 2 over KT Rolster, people didn't really see that one coming. Now, KT Rolster kind of blundered it, but you got to give Nongshim credit, okay? They got an interesting squad here. They got Peanut. That's my matchup of the game right here is Peanut. Peanut used to play for T1 back in the day when they were called SKT, SK Telecom, and he won Worlds with them. So the fact that he's on this kind of newer squad, kind of unproven, and he's going to be playing T1 almost at their weakest, right? If they do bring in that new top laner, I would argue that Nongshim might actually be able to take this one, but you know what, I'm not confident enough in that because of the new guys like Bay and Kellen, things like that. I don't ultimately love this squad. Look at things like early game versus mid to late game. T1 has Nongshim beat in the early game, but mid to late, Nongshim comes in there, right? So ultimately, I think this is going to be a closer series than people think, but I'm going to give T1 the 2-1 here, but yeah, I'm not confident about it because those odds are close and they're close for a reason. Now, next matchup, we got Gen.G taking on DRX. I do not think this series is going to be close at all. I think Gen.G is just going to stomp them. I think it's going to be a 2-0 for Gen.G. DRX, please don't look at match history and say Gen.G and DRX is a, I mean, you'll look at this, right? That was with Doron, that was with Chovy, that was with Deft, that was with Korea. Look who they have now. Becca, Bao, Solka, Piosik is still there, Kingen. This team sucks. I'm going to be pretty frank about it. This team kind of sucks, okay? They're one of the bottom teams in the LCK. They're nowhere near a Gen.G. Gen.G's going to 2-0 sweep them. It's going to be pretty easy here. Now, LPL. Let's move over to the LPL. We got E-Star taking on Thunder Talk Gaming. This is my favorite matchup of the entire slate. I think Thunder Talk Gaming comes in here and they put themselves on the damn map. Okay? Now look, you got LPL stats over here. You can actually take these, do a little something like this, right? This is Thunder Talk. No, I think I have I need to do... Yeah, this is Thunder Talk right here with Xiaopeng, right? Minus 119 gold at 15. 47.2 early game. Minus 13.9 mid to late game. 1.01 champion kills per minute. That's 5th, right? Go back to this. Look, that's the full, you know what I'm saying? Thunder Talk minus 1100, right? People are still looking at this team as a bottom feeder, right? But in my opinion, they're now a top 10 team with Xiaopeng in the jungle. He's looked insane. And don't forget that they brought Twilla in as well. Twilla, Xiaopeng, literally those two guys have... SamD and Teen they're not the most exciting bot lane duo, but listen to this. They're young, and they like to play aggressive. And you know what? SamD, people like to rag on this guy saying he's not a carry. He doesn't like to play, Oh, the team doesn't play around him. I've heard that a lot from the analysts. But you know what? They gave him Zaya back-to-back games. That's and then look at this: Aphelios, Samira, Vayne, Tristana, Kaisa. I get it. Early on in the split versus RNG, he did play a double Jhin game, but look, he's on some carries. This guy Sam D is trying to prove his worth. Okay, and it's no surprise that Victory 5 has looked a bit shaky without the solid ADC in Sam D. I mean, Y4 has looked atrocious, right? So we need to put some respect on this dude's name. Chalizi as well. Chalizi, who knows how you say it. He's coming in here rocking a massive performance in their last game, which, was a win over Victory 5, wasn't it? I also saw some interesting things coming out here where it was Twila was on the Renekton and the Nico. Now those are some interesting picks. Sejuani came out. Chalizi is more on some. I love the Camille pick. He looked insane on that. But look at these things. Like they're trying to get interesting in the draft, right? And that's something you want to see from a team who, look at this. They still have time, right? We're relatively early on into the LPL, right? We still have 5 more weeks left. And a team like ThunderTalk still has 2 more games left in this week, right? You talk about a 2-0 week here, we're talking about a 3-14 that's pushing for playoffs, right? So, please don't sleep on ThunderTalk right now, because they're going to go up against a team in E-Star who people love to talk about E-Star as one of those up-and-coming teams. They're coming back. They got that sleeper potential. But listen, that was with Cryan, and that was with Wei, and that was with Wink in the ADC role, right? This new rendition with ZS and Hacker and Irma and Rat and Chelsea, it looked interesting at the beginning of the split. Took a game off BLG, 2 games off Rogue Warriors, 2 games off OMG. But we need to think back that Rogue Warriors and OMG have a combined 1-11 record with 4 game wins and 23 game losses. Okay? So, in retrospect, wins over OMG and Rogue Warriors don't really mean shit. Okay? Now, I'm talking about they're coming in here riding a 6-game losing streak, which means what? Confidence is probably at an all-time low, right? So, we're talking about an all-time low confidence E-Star coming in versus ThunderTalk, who's now coming off a 2-0 win over Fee5, which was extremely convincing. Then, their last series versus EDG, hey, if you haven't watched that one, watch that one back, because they were competing in that early game, that's the thing that I think gets them there. That early game, right? People look at E-Star's early game and the mid to late, and they're going to say, okay, E-Star's actually a better statistic team, right? But when you look at those 4 games with Zhao Peng in versus Bless, I'm telling you, this early game skyrocketed up. I think it was north of 50, right? So the fact that they've gotten so much more proactive around the map in that early game is going to catch E-Star off kilter, right? And E-Star isn't a great team, okay? E-Star's a team that, look at this, they start off in a negative gold deficit at 15 minutes. Their mid to late game is negative. This team is nothing special, okay? Objective control is lower in the league. This isn't a team that you're going to want to hang your hat on, okay? And ThunderTalk is a team, listen, Zhao Peng is their best player. And he came in, and he immediately, it's like this team got a facelift, right? TT 2-1 over E-Star, lock it. Last series of the day, we're going to spend relatively no time on this one. JDG 2-0 over Rogue Warriors. This is the one stat I want to show you guys. This is Rogue Warriors in their last 5 series. That's 50 minutes combined. That's 2 games that were over 30 minutes, barely. That's 50 minutes combined. That's 47 minutes combined. And then 1 more 30. So that means they've lost now 10 games in a row. And only 3 of those games have gone over 30 minutes. With those 3 all barely going over 30. This could potentially be them losing in under 30 minutes, which 30 minutes is kind of the bar. That's on DraftKings, you get the 2 point bonus for a win under 30 minutes. So if you're beating a team in under 30 minutes, you've stomped them. Rogue Warriors have now lost almost every single game under 30 minutes out of their last 5 series, and they all were sweeps. JDG, say what you want about them, they're not a bad team at all. This is still a top team, okay? They've just been faltering against some of the other top teams. This is the interesting thing. They've either lost in a sweep or won in a sweep every single game or every single series this split so far. And that's not going to end tomorrow. They're going to sweep Rogue Warriors, and it's going to be it's going to be a rough one. So let's go over the recap. T1 2-1 over Nongshim. They're a bit live as a dog though. Gen.G 2-0 over DRX. TT 2-1 over E-Star, and JDG 2-0 over Rogue Warriors. If you liked what you heard here, give me a subscribe, please. We're trying to get over 1,000, and it's hard out here. And if you want to catch my full DFS matchup breakdowns, I offer those on Patreon, patreon.com/DFS Hitman. Let's get it. Good luck, everybody.